Steve here with Table Rock Tea Company. I'm going to take you on a quick one-shot video tour of our tea micro factory. We've gotten a lot of new machinery lately that you guys have been asking about, so we thought we'd show you around. Let me step behind the camera and we'll give you a tour. Our factory winds around like this, and the first stop for the tea are these withering beds. We built and designed these to fit into a tight space, and the tea comes in here after it's plucked, and that's where it starts to wither. Same thing on these speed racks. These just came out of a bakery. We do a lot of co-processing and co-packing for other tea and herb companies, so that lets us keep their products separate from ours as we work on them. This is a meat mixer grinder that came out of my sister and brother-in-law's butcher shop. Thanks, guys. And we modified it by slowing the motor down, changing the teeth, and now we use it to grind black tea. So the tea gets thrown into these paddles, and then it comes down a chute through these plates and teeth, and that grinds it up and makes it a fine black tea. In the corner, we have a tea rolling machine. This is where we make our oolongs and our whole leaf tea. It essentially beats the tea up without breaking it apart. So again, we had to modify the motors and that kind of good stuff. So over here is our newest machine. We just got this last week, and this is a baby hippo hammer mill. Again, since we co-pack for other people, we never know what we're going to get in the door, and this lets us grind up everything from nuts to chamomile flowers to you name it. So the material goes in this chute, and then it gets hit by a series of hammer blades, and then you have these screens right here, and whatever hole size you determine on the screen is what determines the particle size of the finished product. Pretty neat. Great machine to have. We modified the vacuum system a little bit and made it so that it collects into these 5-gallon buckets, which is really convenient. So we do a lot of modifications here in the shop. Over here is a 12-ton press, another modification and experiment. We are using this to try to make these tea pucks, very popular in Asia and all that good stuff. But we fill the tea into these molds. It gets pressed down at a certain PSI and sits there for a certain time and temperature, and out comes the tea puck. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, that's an experiment right now. Over here we have a proofing oven that came out of an old Subway subs. The bottom part we use for oxidizing our tea because we can put it at a low temperature, high humidity, and that lets the tea oxidize at just the right settings. After that, it goes into the bakering part, and that finishes off the tea. As many of you know, we do a lot of sponsorships, 5Ks, races, that kind of thing. So we brew a lot of tea and give out gallons and gallons of iced tea. So that's our brewing station. Then over here is just a dust collection system, just like you'd find in any kind of carpentry shop. It gets really dusty in here if you start grinding things, so it's good to have a dust collector. Then finally, in the corner, we've got a Tumble Mixer that we bought from an old Green Giant pilot factory. And essentially it just throws the tea around, and this is what we use to blend stuff like jasmine and squirt bergamot in there for Earl Greys and that kind of thing. This is the classic Bunomatic grinder. We use that for any of our small projects, and we have a vacuum system hooked up to that as well to keep the dust down. Finally, for bagging and finishing off, we've got these two bagging machines. They're basically the same thing. They work the same way, and you put the tea in the top hopper, it weighs it out onto an electronic scale, and it drops down this funnel through a forming mold. That mold goes through here, and these are just heat sealers that heat seal the side and the bottom. So what you end up with is a bag with heat sealed sides and bottoms. So that's basically it. And there's a quick tour of our micro tea factory. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what else is brewing here at Table Rock Tea Company.